Hello guys. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you might have been seeing this video going around on the internet, and a lot of questions might be, coming into mind as to why an inverter will fail this dangerously. But beyond the why, because I can't possibly tell why this particular one chose to, react this way. But then the important question should be, what can cause an inverter to explode this, dangerously? And one of the things is, in an inverter, we have tons of high current, flowing, and it actually has a path. Now, if a component inside the inverter fails, you see, this current, unintended current, if they make a connection to something they are not supposed to, it can cause a disaster, just like what we saw on the video, right? In addition to that, there's what we call the MOSFETs. These are electronic switches inside of the inverter, and they are responsible in controlling the, conversion of the current that is coming from your battery, which is the DC, to the current that most of the appliances at homes are using, which is the AC. Now, if any of these components gets to fail, it can also cause a problem for the power section in the inverter. Also, we talked about the battery, right? Now, the battery is not only responsible for, banking or keeping your power, right? It also has this ability to send whatsoever power that it has been stored to your inverter, right? So now, if the battery is not properly protected, the connection, having a good protective device linking your battery to your inverter. If the inverter tends, or if the battery has a problem, right? If there is a fault in the battery, the battery tend to, send a very high, current to your inverter. And if this current that's supposed to go up from the battery to the inverter, if you do not have any protective device connected to the battery that will link to your inverter, it can cause, problem for the inverter too. And also, another thing is, every electrical appliances has its limit. And it's not different from an inverter system, right? An inverter has a limit as to what, capacity of loads it can take. In respect to that also, it has a certain, designed or predefined temperature at which that system or that, inverter can operate in. Now, if there is by any chance the system is overloaded, it can also cause this kind of dramatic, explosions in the inverter. Again, um, an inverter is supposed to be placed in a place where there is a proper ventilation, free from dust and every other thing that would, cause an inverter to, get overheated. Now, if an inverter gets overheated as a result of some of all these things that I just mentioned, it could be as a result of poor cooling system or dust, or somebody overloaded the system. What I mean by that is plugging something that's going to be beyond what the system itself was designed for. It can lead to, something like this too. So guys, these are some of the things I think might have gone wrong in that inverter that we just watched. In conclusion, uh, my candid advice to you guys, if you want to install any system, the issue of having a proper audit can never be overemphasized, because 90% of installation is done or is achieved when there is a proper sizing. The issue of overheating will not come there because you already know the proper cables, the protective devices that you are going to use, the load that the system is actually going to, be powering. If you must, get most of these appliances yourself, don't just consider only price, also consider quality. Because two inverters can have the same power ratings, right? Different testing standards, different protection systems, and different internal components. Remember, guys, solar is not all about, just electricity, but it's also about managing power safely. Installation is not just about the one that works today, right? But the one that can, serve you in the future and also protect your home. See you guys in our next video. Thank you for watching.